Hi, everybody. This is Rena, and I wish you well, I can't say it's a really happy day. It's the 20th, as we all know, the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And I just, what can you say? I mean, thank you to all the veterans, the soldiers, um, the people who gave their lives for our country, the people that were lost. It was very, very sad, and of course, and it'll live forever in history. But I have a kind of a different twist on it, and I'd like to tell you what happened, and I'd also like to touch on some more numerology, if that's okay. To tell you, I'm not going to turn the camera around this time because I already, if I show you it like this, you're going to see it backwards, but I think you get the idea. The numbers are still the same, and you can figure out what kind of not what personal year, but what your birth cycle is. And the numbers always mean basically the same thing. It's just to get your birth cycle that you'll be stuck with for the rest of your life. That did sounded kind of ominous, but all you do for that is you add your month that you were born, the day you were born, and the year you were born. And I can't write backwards. So I was born 10, 7, plus I'm not going to give you the year I was born. I'm going to make one up. I'll say I was born in 1965. And everybody read backwards here. Okay, this is your birth cycle. This sticks with you your whole life. You can't change it whether you change your name or anything. So this will give me a 1 plus a 0 cancels out to 1, plus 7 is an 8, plus 1, plus 9, plus 6, and plus 5. Now the 8 and the 1 cancel out because they equal 9. So the 9 is the universal number. It will always cancel out. So then we have another 9, which will also cancel out. And then we add the 6 and the 5. 6 and 5 equal 11. That would mean I had a 2 birth number. That would mean my life would be more or less driven by partnerships. I would not like to be alone. I would feel like I always had to have people around me. My life would be centered around partnerships, relationships. I I would always feel like I don't want to be by myself. I want somebody with me. I would have emotional issues. Emotional issues would always be in the forefront. I might have some things that I might need to have help with at times, sorting things out, balancing things. I might have a tendency to go off a little bit on things, overreact through my life. Have people have trouble, difficulty dealing with people, other people's opinions, other people's ideas that differ from my own. So I would need to learn. This is a karmic number. This your birth cycle is karmic. I know I'm writing upside down again. I'm sorry. It is karmic. Karmic means something is a challenge. It's what you need to do to get yourself to a better place. It's like a lesson you have to learn. It's almost like going to school. So if I had a 2, like I said, I would need to work on relationships, my own inner self, my own inner self worth. I would always be looking at myself. Well, am I good enough? Am I doing the right things? Or do people like me? Friends would be a big deal. Like, do I have enough friends? Can I trust them? Um, I would always need to be in a circle of some kind, in a group. I don't want to be alone. So that's what marriage would always be a thing. Finding a partner, finding something that made my heart feel good, something I'm in this thing. I need something to be around me to feel good. It's not like like a one can kind of go out on their own and, do their own thing and feel secure about it. A two needs a little bit of comfort. They're more soft. They're better listeners. You're a good listener. People like to come to you for advice. They like to come to you for comfort, for empathy, because they know that you have an ear to listen to them and you'll understand them. And it's good for you to go into something, some kind of career where it's like that, where you listen to people, maybe social work, teaching, nursing, some sort of counseling, where you're listening to people. You need people around you. You need people to make you feel good, and for them to give you that confidence to make you feel good about yourself. So that's basically what a 2 birth number is. And I'm actually a 4 birth number, so it means I have to just do my thing. I have to get through my karma. Things are going to be hard. Things are going to be boring at times. I kind of fight against it because I'm a very restless person, and my personality is sort of like, I like new and exciting stuff. I have a short attention span, and I like the strange and unusual, as you can tell. And I'm psychically inclined, which usually doesn't go with a 4 number. And I have that. And also, you can also figure out your cycles for your years. A year in your life, you have in your birth number, you have basically 3 cycles. They run about 25 years. So age 1 to 25 is your first cycle. Your second cycle would run about 26 to 50. Your third cycle, your golden years, would run about, 50, so we'll say 56 to the end of your life. Now, the way you figure that out is 1 is your month. So if I was born in 10, I would have a 1 in my first birth cycle. So that means a lot of difficulties, a lot of starts, a lot of beginning things, always kind of get started. And in my life, it was always, I start one thing and then I drop it. And then I kind of move on to something else. It was a lot of lack of direction in my life. In other people's lives, with like Dolly Parton had a 1. My mother had a 1 in her first year. Elvis, they pushed. But other people who are not as confident, and my mother wasn't confident, she had to. She went through the war, the Second World War, and she went through a lot. And so with a one birth cycle, it's a difficult birth cycle to get over because you need to push. All right, then with the second birth cycle, that's usually that is your maturity cycle, basically, when you're a grown-up. Mine is 7. 7 is the psychic number. It means also all my cycles here in reality are alone. I feel better when I'm alone. I can do it alone. I don't like to have a lot of people around me. The 1 means also you can do it on your own. You don't need to have an entourage. You like to do things by yourself. You like to do it first, and then maybe people will follow you. But you're not a follower. You're more like an independent or a leader. The second, again, is the sabbatical number. It's the introspective number. It's the number of psychic things. A lot of people have 7, have a lot of secrets. They have a lot of introspection. They may have a lot of lack of confidence, too, where they have to prove themselves over and over to themselves because they feel they're different. They're different than other people. And they don't know exactly why. Mine was because I was different because my family came from Europe, Germany, and Germans weren't exactly popular after the Second World War. And we looked so German, and we were like a foot taller than the rest of the class, and we looked like little Viking children. So we weren't exactly, Nazi kept coming up over and over and over again. Everybody knew my mother was Nazi, and she was a single mom, so we got picked on for that too. Plus we were we were very quiet and shy and well behaved, well respected. We respected things. That was the 7. Plus, it's a psychic number, and that's just what I am, and I went into. I have followed. That's just the number of a spiritual. Some people are not spiritual that have the 7, but they're loners. They feel isolated. They feel lack of confidence. They can also go into the sciences. It's also the science number, the medical, the factual, the numeric. You could be a mathematician or something having to do with numbers or abstract ideas, a psychology teacher or psychology of some sort. Not so warm and cozy like the 2, but more of in a factual way. Well, if this goes this way, then this must go that way. Like you're always figuring, you're always thinking, you're always second guessing everybody. Like you want to dig, you're a digger. You're a detective. You're a natural detective. You want to find out. You're fascinated with the macabre, with interesting details and discoveries and history and finding out how this battlefield got the way it is, where the tombstones are, where the bodies are buried. You're fascinated with that sort of thing, but you can also be extremely lonely and have a lot of. My father had a 7 middle cycle, and so did my son. It means you might have emotional issues having to do with loneliness and past and feeling isolated. So, and the last number I had here, which is not really my birth number is 5 on the last thing, on my golden years, which I'm sort of starting. But anyway, that 5 is actually mine, and it means a time to let go, like to have some fun. So when am I going to start having fun? I mean, this is part of it. This is like letting go. It's telling me this is my fun time. I've done my time. I raised my kids. I protected them. I did all this stuff. I was super mom. I've tried to be super mom. I had my wild days, believe me, plenty of them. But the 5 is the number of chance. It's the number of go out, do it, travel, go places, do stuff. That's the number of freedom number. It's probably the best last cycle that you could possibly have. It just means enjoying yourself, doing new things, starting new things, trying new things, because nothing's going to last forever. So go for it. So that's our second numerology part, and I hope you guys got that. And remember, your birth cycle, which goes with you through your whole life, you cannot change it, is your month of birth, your day of birth, and your year. Remember our chart. I know it's backwards, but you can do it. It's 9 blocks: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. It reminds me when I was teaching little kindergarten kids. They were so cute. I just adored them. I could just imagine little Summer being in one of the class. Oh my gosh, it would have been. Anyway, and then you just follow along and you run out of letters, 3 letters at the 6. So then for 7, you'll only have the G and the P, and the 8 is an H and a Q, and then the 9 is the 1 and the R. So that's our second numerology lesson. I wanted to tell you about my 9/11 experience, which was quite interesting. If you want to hear, you don't have to hear. And somebody said I looked like I was high. Some troll. And then a little happy smiley face. If I'm manic, a little manic, then too bad if you don't like it. It's me. I do have bipolar, and sometimes I get manic, and I get, and I'll say to my husband, am I acting a little manic? He'll say, well, just a tad. And I do take medication for it. No, I don't get high. A glass of sparkling wine will, or bubble water with nothing. Or I have to watch because of the medication, I'll fall asleep. But anyway, so I I don't get high. I don't know what the hell she was talking about. You look high. Well, maybe I was just a little bit manic, you know? My ex-husband did it. I didn't get it till after my divorce, my 6-year divorce. But anyway, so screw her. So I told her basically that. I told her that if she wanted to get high, she wasn't going to get it here with me. She should go to Don and Candace and Voices Behind the Walls and get something there, because she wasn't going to get it here, and she was being very rude, and I haven't blocked her. Anyway, no, I'm not crazy. I'm drinking Fresca and lime again. Anyway, I just made a huge pot of homemade spaghetti and meatballs, turkey sausage, and regular turkey hamburger, turkey burger meatballs with my own vegetables. And I'm making spaghetti for dinner and a salad. And for my husband, I can put it in different containers and we can have it for over a couple of days. So that's my plan. So anyway, this happened to me when my kids were, well, it was 2001. So Christian was, he was 9. And sometimes we were separated, my ex and myself, and I lived in the house with the children. And I remember I was woken up by the loudest boom. This was 9/11. This was late in the early morning hours. Maybe, I think I looked at the clock. It was like 2:30 or something like that. And he used to come in the bed sometimes because he was insecure and he was, it was a big bed. Anyway, the girls didn't do that, but he did because he was more insecure than the girls were. And anyway, so I remember being woken up by the biggest boom I've ever heard in my life. And I woke up and I could hear it resonating in my ears, in my bedroom. And I saw this orange light all over the bottom half of the room. It was like flames, but there were no flames. It was just bright orange light. And I could see the light was illuminating the pictures on the wall. And I looked at Christian, and he hadn't been woken up. He was still sleeping soundly. And it was so loud. It was ringing in my ears. And I saw his face. And he was, sleeping peacefully. And I was thinking, how could you not have heard that? And I looked around the room and I could feel this energy around my upper body, because we know what I've told you so far, that I have been told, and that I know that our energy circle is around our chest. In the chakras or what, I don't do that, but I believe that that's where our main energy center is. And that when I have spirit visitation, it's always like around this part of me, the energy. I could feel molecules in the room. Like I could feel the energy, and it was so strong. It was like something was sitting on my chest, and I could see them, and the whole room was lit up with this orange light. And I was just waiting, and I knew it wasn't a fire. It was nothing. I knew it was something psychic. And it just was like the force of this thing. I could feel it in the room. I could see everything, and like the light was on, but it was the orange light. It was this orange glow. And I could still hear the buzz, buzz in my ears, and I could still hear the boom. And I knew this was an explosion of energy of such magnitude that I had never experienced before in my life. And I just laid there and kind of just like, well, there's nothing I can do about it. I was kind of used to that sort of thing. When the kids were little, I just let things come to me. I was so busy with the children. I did everything with them. My ex, I didn't want him to. I didn't trust him and whatever. So I did everything. I was tired. And I just thought, well, it started to fade, but I could still hear the boom ringing in my ears. And when I woke up, I asked Christian if he'd heard anything. And he said, the whole thing lasted maybe 10 minutes. And I decided, after it was starting to fade, I decided to go back to sleep because there was nothing I could do. And I did not know what it was. It was just an explosion of energy and light and force that I have never since experienced in my life. So the next morning, I asked the kids, all the girls too, if they'd heard anything, and they said no, we didn't hear anything. Christian said, no, Mom, I didn't hear anything. So I was like kind of perplexed, like what? But it was 9/11, and so I sent them, I took them to school, and they were all in elementary school at the same time. And I worked. I don't think I had worked. Yes, I think I was working at the school, and I was going to go in a little later. And or I didn't work that. No, I didn't work that day because I remember I went and picked them up. But all of a sudden, I was sitting. I was taking college classes. I was sitting in my class, and it was English composition. And suddenly, the professor got called out of the class for like 10 minutes, and we were all kind of looking at each other like, "How come he's gone so long? You know what happened?" And he's talking to some other teacher in the hallway that called him out of the class. And suddenly he comes back in the room. He starts packing up his stuff, his briefcase and his binders and stuff like that. Says, "The Pentagon's been hit with an airplane. You guys all have to go home. Do what you have to do. Stay in your houses." And we were like, "Huh?" And he said, "That's all I know. A Pentagon's been hit. We gotta leave. We gotta leave." So I was like, "Oh my God." So of course I went to the kids' school and I called my ex-husband. We were still speaking. We were separated, but he was living in a different house. And we collected the children at the school, and every other parent was there too to collect their children. And then of course I got them home, and I was scared. I knew that this was related. And then we started watching TV, and we're seeing the pictures, all the recaps of the planes hitting the Twin Towers, and the force of the explosions. And then I knew I had a vision of what was to come. And I also had this other vision around the same time, and I'm pretty sure I know what it means. And I didn't want to say it at the time because it would have implicated kind of our own people. I had a vision that I was looking at a stage, but it was a short stage. It was like one step up, and it was carpeted, and I was just standing below. I wasn't on the step or anything, and I saw these two twin girls, and they were like Middle Eastern looking, and they were standing there with their mother, who was also Middle Eastern looking. And they were just standing there, and the twin girls were kind of holding each other's hands. They were about maybe 13 or something. And then the father came along. He was, the ruler of the family and everything, and he was the expected ruler. And he took the girls and he said to the mother, "Well, I'm going to take them now. I'm not forever. I'm just going to take them and take them here and there." And she had got this weird look on her face, and I knew the girls were afraid of the mother. And the obvious person that everybody was supposed to be afraid of was the father, the Middle Eastern looking father. And suddenly the mother pulled out this big butcher knife and she stabbed him in the back. And he turned around and he gave her a look like of shock. And he fell to the ground, and the girls fell too. The twin girls fell. And they looked like they were in total shock, and that was the end of the vision. And obviously the first one was pretty obvious, the explosion of energy that was 9/11. But the second one was that the thing that was supposed to be innocent, the mother, and the twin girls were the Twin Towers. And I saw this right around the same time. I don't know, it was right before or right after. The Twin Towers fell. The girls fell off the stage. The stage was the world stage. That's what it symbolized, the world stage. They fell. And the person that was supposed to be the bad guy, the dad, he was taking the girls. But he he wasn't allowed to take the girls because the mother suddenly turned around and she stabbed him, and it was a totally unsurprise a surprise attack, and it wasn't supposed to be that way. In other words, the ones that were thought to be the friendly, the mother, the nurturing mother, and the girls were already afraid of the mother. So there was already something going on there. He wasn't the enemy. It was the mother. So figure it out for yourself. That I don't think we've had an honest president or administration since Reagan. I know we haven't, and I know that Biden is not running this country, and I believe it's three entities of former presidents that are running this country right now, because I don't think he knows what he's doing, or even knows where he is. So anyway, that told me something, that there was something very wrong about the way that happened, that it was not who we thought it was the enemy. It was our own government had a lot to do with that bombing. And I know that's a horrible thing to think, but my visions have never been wrong. And that didn't sit well with me. It took me a long time to admit that. And then when I saw, stories of, scientists saying that there's no way that building would have imploded the way it did. And they had like tapes of people saying, set the charge, set the charge. I believe that the Bushes, both Bushes, the Clintons, and all their McCain, Obama, the Biden administration, I believe they all are corrupt, and they had something to do with it. And it was all for politics, all for money, all for power, all for something. But it was not that those planes could not have exploded those buildings the way they did and wiped everything out. And the plane crashes where they found no evidence, even in the Pittsburgh field, they never showed wreckage. We know there was a fight, but they never showed any wreckage. The whole thing was fishy. And after I had that vision, I knew something was fishy. And you can take it as you leave it. I'm not going to get attacked for this because a lot of people already, we know how corrupt our government is. And so that was my 9/11 experience. And as of late, I've had similar type, I believe it has to do with the government, celebrations. One woke me up. It sounded like a popping light bulb. I was sleeping, a popping light bulb, and then I saw like confetti falling down from the sky, like it was a big celebration of some sort. And I said to Bobby, did you just shine a light on me? Because I'm sleeping in the spare room now so we can get a better night's sleep. And I always sleep better in there because I don't have to worry about dogs jumping all over me. Emmy sleeps there with me. Her back leg is going out, so she doesn't move around a lot. And confetti came down this morning too. I hadn't opened my eyes yet, and all I see these sprinkles and streamers and things like that coming down. I'm thinking, and I saw American flags, and I'm thinking something's about to happen. Something's about to change with our government, and there's going to be cause for celebration. And I had more visions about it, but I wanted to tell you about the Summer Wells things, the visions I had about the lake that was overflowing. As I said, if you heard the vision, the lake was overflowing with emotional stuff. Like when water overflowed, it's emotional. It means emotions. It was like completely overflowed up to our door, and they were talking evacuations, and I was highly pregnant, like 12 months. And they were trying to evacuate us. That was a warning from Ronnie Lawson that I didn't see yet on video. I saw it like 2 days later, that he said, stay out of our investigation, everybody. we were being evacuated in my vision, like, stay out of our investigation, you're interfering. That was it. That was them evacuating us from the whole situation. But I kept going back and forth because it's my right. I'm not trespassing on anybody's land or searching. I'm telling you what my visions are. That was Ronnie Lawson telling everybody to cool it and get away. Go away and stop spreading rumors. And there's a rumor now, obviously, about the boys that I'm sure everybody is just about read. That was a leak from CPS and was turned over to TBI about how the boys were really treated and Summer. And apparently, I don't think that they sold Summer because school was starting, because the boys were in horrible shape. They were they had been beaten, according to the boys. The boys are starting to open up. According to this person, whom I believe, it just got, somebody leaked it from CPS, that, they had been horribly mistreated in every single way, shape, and form, except sexually. That was for Summer. So if they would have started school, they were full of body lice too. The school would have noticed that all of them, not just Summer. So there would have been no reason to just get rid of Summer. I mean, plus sexual abuse is kind of hard to prove. She could have been scratching herself because she was dirty. She might have had a yeast infection and scratching herself down there. There's not that, it wouldn't have been, there would be no reason to get rid of her at that particular time, as many theories are going up about it. I don't believe that. And especially after hearing that report. And it disturbed me so much because it was a lot worse than I thought. I mean, the boys were constantly, according to the sources, you can find it on, it was on Colette's channel. It's all over the place. Just look up latest CPI report on the Wells boys. It just got leaked by someone named Ziggy, but it sounded, she was reading, the woman who, she's pretty new. She only has like 400 subscribers, but she was reading it down the list, what they were charged with. And Candace is always also being investigated for having an intimate relationship with Hunter. And that must be my husband. Dogs are setting off, but that's being looked into also, because they said they have proof that and the kids were saw it. Apparently the boys are opening up. Thank God they're being helped. And the kids had head lice. They'd never seen a dentist. There were no doctor records. Their teeth were rotting in their mouths. They had head lice. They had body lice. Candace had scabies and body lice. And maybe that's how they found out that they were having an intimate relationship, Hunter and Candace, because he got it and he told his mother. I don't know. But it was a relief in a way, but it was horrible to hear this stuff. I mean, they got beaten a couple times a day. They got yelled at, berated. Anything would be thrown, both Candace and Don. Things were thrown at them. They were hit with things. They must have had bruises up and down. The school would have seen that on all the kids. So it wasn't like they were just trying to get rid of Summer. And like I said, sexual abuse, I don't think he was having, what with her. I think he was just like, which is bad enough. But she would have been internal bleeding or something like that. She was so tiny. So I don't think it was, I never did think it was like that. So anyway, I'm glad that came out because we needed to know. And Ronnie Lawson says, back off. That was my vision, which, he told us to back off. And I was highly pregnant, which meant that something was about to pop, which is this. And there was also in my card reading was a relationship coming up, a romantic relationship, which would be news. And this seems to be coming out now. A lot of my readings have most of my readings have come true. And it won't be long before they're in jail. But Don will never give up where Summer's remains are. And if you watch my last video about where Summer is, and she will find peace, and they will find her in the fall, he will never give it up. I don't even think Candace knows where she is because he wouldn't trust her. Nobody trusts anybody. And so it's a whole big, just like I said in my first reading before I even read the case, I said there's secrets, there's so many secrets and deceptions and everything in this case. Look back for disappearances, look back for murders, look back into the family history, and you will find all your answers. Hello. So anyway, hi, I'm making a video. So I'll talk to you later, and I wish you well, and I love you, and I'll talk to you very soon. I hope you remember what I said about the numerology, and I'll upload this. And take care of yourselves, stay safe, and love you.